Hey ladies, Heather Ann here. Sorry for the mess in the background. I'm currently having work done to the upstairs house, so I'm kind of hunkering down here in the basement, but that's beside the fact. I'm here to share with you some of my top tips when it comes to mastering the 3-day refresh. First and foremost, in terms of what days you're going to do this, you want to pick the best 3 days out of your week where you're going to be home most of the time. You have time to dedicate this and you won't have a lot of outside influence because you've invested in this, and for it to fully work and to give you either more energy, less bloat, reduce your sugar cravings, maybe lose a couple pounds to kickstart your workout, you really want to dedicate to it. And just like any cleanse or detox you may have done in the past or maybe not have done, the nice thing about this is, yes, it's 3 days. Yes, it's going to be struggling at times, but you still are eating real food. And I think that's the genius part about this, is because typically people think when they detox, they have to just limit themselves to juices. And typically those are full of preservatives and high sugars and doesn't really help the situation. But with eating clean food such as veggies and fruits and healthy fats, that stuff your body's already used to. So it's going to process through a lot better, a lot smoother, a lot safer. And you really are eating a lot. So, you will have your moments. I will say that I typically get a headache around night 1, beginning of day 2. I'm very tired come night 1 because you are in a calorie deficit. So your body's kind of shutting down as well as cleaning itself out at the same time. So all of your energy you do have from the calories you are taking in are being used to detox your body out and clean it out. So be aware of that. That may happen, low energy and a headache. I typically take, a Motrin if I need it, but stay strong. I will say the first time I've done this, I did have my weakening moments, and I did give into a handful of almonds just to keep me going from lunch until dinner. If you super, super need something, if you're getting dizzy and lightheaded, listen to your body, but try to fill your body with the foods that are recommended in the guide. Almonds, I did raw, unsalted almonds when I needed it. And I have given in and had coffee before. As you'll see in the guide, they don't recommend coffee because they want to cleanse you of all the caffeine fixes you may have. But if you have to use coffee, then have it black. No creamer, nothing of that sort, and be able to get your coffee fixed in that way. But highly recommend reading this front to back so you know everything. And to make it super simple on yourself, plan out your meals. Know what you're doing day in and day out and write them out. This is your guide and your journal to keep track of everything, to keep you on track. I will also recommend using your phone as a great tool throughout this, because as you will see, you should be eating and drinking everything within an hour of each time. So I typically set timers on my phone, and I set my timer for everything that I should be eating and drinking throughout the day. I will say that it goes by pretty quickly, and you could be done eating by 5 o'clock at night, which is pretty early. So I typically have a bigger gap between lunch and dinner and breakfast and lunch. I stay consistent from the first meal up into the snacks, and then I probably wait 2 or 3 hours to have the lunch portion, and then have that section from the lunch to the afternoon tea to the veggies and whatnot up until dinner. And then I usually have a 2 or 3 hour gap from that section until dinner at night to kind of spread it out a little more, because I'm typically eating later at night anyways. So I don't want to disrupt that too much or leave me absolutely starving before going to bed. You probably will find that you are very tired come night 1. You may even experience a headache. And my recommendation is, if you can, go to bed. If it comes to be like 8 o'clock at night, just go to bed, because that's your body telling you, it's on its energy reserve, it's detoxing at the same time. And sleep is all part of the detox as well. So it doesn't hurt to get a couple extra Z's during this. So as you can see, it's very important to find those 3 days that are going to work best with your schedule, and you can actually stay on track. When it comes to any of the shakes and powders you have, my recommendation is blend it if you can. Shakeology can be blended with fruit. It must be with water. The Vanilla Fresh I recommend with a blender as well. You can absolutely add spices to it, like cinnamon or pumpkin spice to spice it up. And then with the fiber sweep, I will say the quicker the better. I typically just put it in a blender bottle with a ball, shake it up so vigorously, and then down it as quick as possible. Because the longer you let it set or try to sip it, it's going to thicken up, which is going to make it that much harder to get it down because it's pure fiber. And so fiber naturally, as it soaks in water, it expands and it becomes really thick like paste. So shake it as quick as you can and then down it as quick as you can. That's my recommendation for you. And luckily enough, there is a citrus flavor to it, so it's not horribly tasting. But those are my tips for you. I would say too, routine is best for these 3 days. Don't make it too complicated, and don't try to plan out all these fancy meals and pick out the fanciest recipes from this guide. The simpler the better. And I typically have the same thing for lunch the 3 days and the same thing for dinner 3 days. Typically my dinners, I go and get the frozen bag of organic veggies, a mix of cauliflower, carrots, and broccoli. And then I heat those up and then add the coconut oil and the salt. That's a recipe in here. And typically for lunches, I do a spinach salad with fruit in it and a veggie in it and a healthy fat. So typically avocado, beets, and oranges. I've done apples as well. And for a dressing, I love white balsamic vinegar. Vinegar is okay to use in this. And it's simple, it's pure, it's a little sweet, it's a little tangy, so it's a little more zhuzh to your salad than just using maybe oil and seasonings or lemon juice and seasonings. So white balsamic, try to do a salad for lunch, and then pick a simple dinner that you will want to do all 3 nights. And that way too, it keeps the cost down as well because you're not buying as much and you know what you're doing. And then as well with the water, you will be drinking a lot of water during these 3 days. So you'll be peeing a lot probably, but that's part of it. So if you don't have access to purified water, I recommend getting a 6-pack of purified water. I love these. These are 1 liter each. They come in a 6-pack. So I basically drink 2 of these per day, and it's perfect. It works out to over the 3 days at 6. So this is an option as well if you don't have purification in your house, either in your refrigerator or a carafe. But that is it. I will share with you some recipes below as far as my salads go. But like I said, I typically do the veggies at night. The veggie stir fry or the coconut steamed veggies are the ones I usually do. And that is it. So if you have any questions, let me know. But pick the best 3 days out of your week. Don't rush into it. You have to prepare. Timers work best, and routine is the simplest. So good luck. Keep me posted and stay strong.